Hi, you guys. So it's been a while since I've done a video. I had to have emergency surgery about a month ago, and it was a really serious surgery, and there was a lot of recuperation time. I couldn't move for a long time by myself, and yada, yada, yada. So I'm finally able to. I feel well now. I'm recuperating and I'm feeling better and better. And so I thought I could make a video today. And there was a viewer of mine who had a question, and that prompted me to make this video. And her question was about soulmates, and in particular, what is a soulmate, and then I was just going to talk a little bit about the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame, for instance. Because the word soulmate, the term soulmate is used quite a bit, and it can be kind of confusing sometimes as to what it might mean in each individual's circumstances. And so, what I've learned throughout the years, for the last 25 years of reading and watching other spiritual people's videos and reading books from all kinds of spiritual artists and channelers and you name it, what I can gather and what seems to be true from my personal experience is that a soulmate is a person that is part of your soul family. It doesn't always mean they're part of your soul family, but the majority of the time, they're usually a soul family member. And what that means is that before we all decide to incarnate here in a body on earth, we're on the other side before that. And we get to decide what our life is going to be like and what things that we want to learn and what challenges we want to face when we come down here to earth. We also get to choose, or sometimes we don't choose. Sometimes members of our soul family decide that they would like to incarnate with us in that particular lifetime to help us learn a lesson or help us go through a challenge or help us in whatever thing that we're looking at to learn from that particular lifetime. And what a lot of people aren't aware of is that soulmates can come in different kinds of demeanors, meaning a soulmate can be someone that you're very close to in life. A soulmate can be someone who you share a lot of likes and dislikes with in life. A soulmate can be like a best friend. A soulmate can be like a lover. A soulmate can be like a husband or wife. But what a lot of people aren't aware of is a soulmate can also be a challenge in your life. A soulmate can also appear in your life to give you challenges. And again, this is all agreed upon by yourself and the member of your soul family before you incarnate here into a body on earth. And this is how I like to explain how it might go. Okay, so I'm on the other side, and I'm planning on incarnating into another body and going back to earth because I want to learn more about loyalty, or I want to learn about love, or I want to learn about family, or I want to learn about heartache, or whatever it is that I want to learn in that particular incarnation. I want to learn and grow and learn about all these different things to make my whole higher spiritual self a broader, more spiritual, more complete being. So that's why we pick and choose what things we want to learn more about. And so we learn them in our experience. And that's why every lifetime we gain more and more experience. Our higher self gains more and more experience. And that's the reason why we pick the challenges that we pick as we go through each lifetime. And so I might decide I want to learn more about loyalty. And so I'll be up on the other side discussing this with my soul family, that I want to learn more about loyalty and that I'd like to reincarnate on Earth again. And Bob might, part of my soul family group, might say, I'd like to help you learn that because I love you. And how about I incarnate with you to Earth and I help you learn about loyalty. And I'm going to help you learn by being the most disloyal person I can to you to help you learn more about loyalty. I'm going to be the most unloyal, disloyal person you've ever met in your life. And that way I can help you on your growth to learn more about loyalty. And you actually agree to this. This is always an agreement between two parties or more parties before you incarnate here. We're not victims. We're not sent here, learning these things against our will. And so both of you will incarnate at the same time in the same lifetime on Earth. And Bob, part of your soul family, he might decide he's going to be your brother, or you guys might decide, it's all your decision. So you guys both might decide that Bob is going to be your brother in this lifetime, or you both might decide that Bob is going to be your lover during this lifetime, or you might decide that Bob is going to be your father during this lifetime. I know it sounds weird that one person can be all of those things, but that's the way it works on the other side in spirit. And so that's why a lot of people say, your daughter has been your mother before and your best friend, etc., in different lifetimes. Say that Bob, part of your soul family, and you decide that he's going to come into your life in this lifetime as your lover. And he's going to make your life miserable so that you learn about loyalty. So both of you incarnate at the same time, and you're in this body, and you meet and fall in love with Bob, whose name is now George or something, and say you meet when you're 25. You meet each other at a coffee place, and you seem like you know each other, and you seem like you get along well, and you have a chemistry between you, and so you wind up dating, and something happens, and Bob all of a sudden changes and cheats on you, and you find out about it after everybody already knows. That person, Bob, George, in this lifetime, is a soulmate. And see what I mean? How soulmates aren't necessarily the person that you're going to wind up being married to for the rest of your life. A soulmate isn't necessarily going to be the person who you have everything in common with and would never hurt you, and you live together like a princess and a prince in a storybook. No, sometimes a soulmate can be the source of pain in your life. And it's all, if you can remember, it's all for a higher purpose that we're not aware of, because we forget by design. We forget on purpose when we come down and incarnate into these bodies on Earth. Otherwise, the game wouldn't be worth playing if we remembered what we were planning before we got here, right? We have to be cut off from source in order to learn these lessons. And sometimes we learn them in the most painful ways. But then when we pass away and we go back up to spirit, we've learned that lesson about loyalty, and we can add that to the richness of our experiences as a higher spiritual being. And now we know what that's like. Just like we learn and know what love is like and what hate is like and what kindness is like and what selfishness is like. So that's the best way that I can explain soulmates. And I mentioned earlier twin flames as opposed to soulmates. Now, twin flames, as I understand it and as I experience it, a twin flame is more rare to meet. They're more rare to incarnate at the same time in the same place. But when they do, they usually do something that is a betterment to the world. For instance, let's take John Lennon and Yoko Ono. They wrote the song Imagine. They wrote the song Imagine together. That's a very powerful song that helps the world. Those two would be considered twin flames instead of soulmates. They may not be soul family members on the other side, or they may be. They might just be half of the same whole being. When we come down, we're all part of the original source, and source divides itself as we fall to the lower dimensions. So God starts out as God, and then he breaks into two as a male and a female, and then that breaks into two more. So then we wind up having soul families and higher selves, and down all the way down to the one self. And when a being is very high up close to God, when they separate and go to a lower form, they often split into two. Those two are twin flames. So they're literally complete each other. They're like half of the same being. When they're together, they make a complete higher being. So that's kind of the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate. And I hope I wasn't too confusing with that, because it can be confusing. And I hope I was able to explain it in a way that makes some sense. And so thanks so much for the question from my viewer. I really appreciate you. And that's all that I had today. And I look forward to talking to you again on another video in the near future. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.